You might be prolonging how long your injuries take to heal, so here are my top 7 tips on how to speed up the healing process. First and foremost, when an injury is fresh, you have to accept that you're injured and respect the pain signals your body is giving you by refraining from all actions that cause you to feel pain. Don't underestimate the delicate nature of your injury. Acknowledge which motions hurt and be disciplined enough to avoid those motions. For example, if you hurt your shoulder and you need to put your seatbelt on awkwardly with your other hand, do that. Or if you need to reach for something overhead with your other arm, then you have to practice those modifications. Along that same note, you have to make sure you're sleeping in a position that isn't painful. We spend a third of our lives in bed, so if you're sleeping in a painful position, you're going to delay that healing process dramatically. Tip number 2 is to avoid NSAIDs. If you can handle the pain, don't take these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs such as Tylenol, Advil, aspirin, and so forth. Multiple studies have shown that NSAIDs delay the healing process of broken bones, tendinitis, all sorts of connective tissue injuries, and even wounds. The reason for this is that NSAIDs work by reducing inflammation and pain. And people often think that inflammation is bad, but that's actually not true. Chronic inflammation is what's bad. But acute inflammation in this context is actually a very fundamental, necessary thing that signals to the body to remodel damaged tissue. The other major issue with NSAIDs are because they temporarily reduce or completely eliminate the pain for the time being, you might end up putting yourself in positions that are actually harmful because your body stops sending you those pain signals. So inflammation after an acute injury should not be interfered with unless the pain is so severe that you cannot handle it. The third tip is to not undereat. This is not the time to be dieting, trying to lose weight. You don't want to be limiting the resources and building blocks your body needs to rebuild itself. A study published in 2020 reviewed the role of nutrition in regards to athletes who were injured and found that it's best to eat at maintenance, meaning enough calories so that you sustain your current body weight, as well as plenty of protein so that you don't lose muscle mass, strength, and you give a clear anabolic signal to your body. And if you're wondering how much protein to eat, the minimum every day should be 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. And it's better to eat upwards toward 1 gram per pound of body weight. The best sources of protein come from animals, such as eggs, meat, fish, chicken, and so forth. If you're having trouble getting enough protein through these food sources, then you can supplement with protein powder, which I highly recommend. Some other tips in regards to nutrition are to avoid getting dehydrated and just simply limit or completely avoid the use of alcohol, as that's known to mess with the immune system. Tip number 4 is to make sure you're getting enough sleep. A study from the Journal of Applied Physiology found that people who got 7 to 9 hours of sleep healed much faster than people who were sleep deprived despite getting nutrition and protein supplementation. What's funny is the researchers were trying to prove that nutrition and protein supplementation can mitigate the effects of sleep deprivation, but they found that people who sleep more simply heal faster. So if you're having trouble getting quality sleep, make sure you don't look at any screens or your phone 30 minutes or an hour before bedtime, and try to sleep at the same time every night and wake up at the same time to reset your circadian rhythm. Before you see tip number 5, 6, and 7, if you haven't liked this video, what are you waiting for? Tip number 5 is that you have to find other ways to move. After a few days have passed and it's clear what hurts and what doesn't hurt, it's time to explore how to move your body in ways that won't interfere with your injury. It's great that you're protecting the joint by resting, but it doesn't mean you're supposed to stay stagnant completely. Figure out what activities you could do that won't interfere with your injury, and it'll motivate you and it'll actually help you heal faster. If you hurt your wrist, for example, you could follow my wrist modified bodyweight training routine. If you hurt your shoulder, you could work on the strength and flexibility of your legs and hips, or go for a jog, or go for a bike ride. If you hurt your knees, maybe you could go swimming if swimming doesn't interfere with your knee pain. Cardio in particular is really good because it helps increase the blood flow dramatically. It doesn't even have to be anything extreme. Just a brisk walk can boost your immune system and help you out. You can almost always work on your core strength, flexibility, and do isolation exercises that don't hurt. Tip number 6 is to start rehabbing. Typically, if the pain has subsided after a couple weeks, you should start introducing light intensity movements. You want to reintroduce range to the joints only in the limits of what is acceptable. And if you're not sure what to do, or if you're not sure how severe your injury actually is, do not neglect seeing a sports-oriented doctor or physiotherapist. They will tell you what to do and you'll know what to expect. And plus, even if you think it's not a big deal, it'll provide better peace of mind so that you know that you're on the right track. Tip number 7 is you have to be patient. You will heal, you will be stronger than you were before, but it will take time. Yes, you'll lose some strength and endurance while you are resting. Find other ways to work out, and even when you're completely pain-free, reintroduce intensity slowly. Don't go back into the workouts you were doing before. Prove to yourself that you could do things at a lighter intensity and then move yourself up gradually like that. And trust me, you'll be stronger than what you were before your injury. So remember that healing from a sports injury requires patience, mindfulness, dedication, and sometimes professional guidance. If you have dealt with a sports injury, what techniques or strategies did you use to help speed up your recovery? And finally, if you're currently injured and you're trying to figure out what to do, one of my favorite things is to just work on my core strength. It's very motivating, it helps you build confidence, and it requires very little pressure on the rest of your joints and limbs. So be sure to check out my Smart Core program that has over 70 exercises that'll help you build up a rock solid core. I'll see you in the comments section. Thanks for watching.